Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Everybody, it's Jeff. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. Kind of a little bit windy and a little snow, but otherwise it's pretty mild today here. I got two videos here that I want to play. I'm going to play them in chronological order. One from yesterday and one from today, and the big part of why I'm doing this is to show you just how fast things change in the fucking news here with Donald Trump as the president here, because I got Kyle from yesterday and then Ben Meiselas today, and it's basically over the same topic, and it's like a complete 180 in just 24 hours. So let's the videos together are about 24 minutes long. Okay, so break it in half. That's about what each one is. So let's go to the videos and then we'll discuss that on the other side.
So let's talk about Trump's tariffs. There's a lot going on here with Trump's tariffs. First of all, let's point this out. He came out the other day and said, we're going to do tariffs. We're going to do it on Mexico. We're going to do it on Canada. We're going to do 25%. And then if they retaliate, we're going to up it to 50%. This is what he said. Okay. So the Tax Foundation, a nonpartisan tax research group, estimates that Trump's 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% tariffs on China will, ready for this, increase taxes by $1.2 trillion per year, what is effectively a tax on the working class, $1.2 trillion. Reduce GDP by 0.4%, so we'd see an economic contraction, right? We'd be in a recession. Reduce employment by 344,000 jobs. We would lose jobs. And result in an average tax increase of $830 per U.S. household. Doing a trade war has horrible, horrible consequences. Let me be clear. We are not talking about targeted tariffs to reinvigorate or revitalize a specific U.S. industry. We are not talking about that. Many of those kinds of tariffs I could support. This is not that at all. This is an across-the-board tariff, which is economic insanity. And then the other thing is, he doesn't even want to pair it with good industrial policy where we subsidize U.S. industry. So this is like economic suicide is what we're talking about here. It would just be a disaster for every working person in this country. So after Trump comes out and says that, Justin Trudeau comes out and gives a 12-minute speech and basically says, okay, if you're going to put a tariff on us, we're going to put a tariff on you. We're going to put a tariff on $155 billion in U.S. imports. He also stressed we're going to mostly target red states. So the goods that were targeted for tariffs from Trudeau include beer, bourbon, clothes, fruit juices, fruits, household appliances, lumber, perfume, plastic, vegetables, and wine. There are more too. In fact, you're already seeing there's this Buy Canada movement in Canada where they're like pulling down a lot of the U.S. alcohol. We've seen already a number of NHL games, number of NBA games. When they do the U.S. national anthem, everybody boos. We're finally respected again, ladies and gentlemen. That's why our closest ally and neighbor is booing us. I brought this up the other day. I have to bring it up again because it's super important. Linda Hasenfratz, the executive chairwoman of the Canadian auto parts maker Linamar, said that the 25% tariffs President Trump intends to impose tomorrow on exports from Canada and Mexico could shut down North American auto production within a week. Quote, nobody can absorb this kind of cost. Not the automakers, not the suppliers, not consumers. Hasenfratz, whose Canada-based company has plants in all three countries, said in a statement to the New York Times, demand will collapse and vehicle production will grind to a halt, putting millions of workers out of work, the vast majority of which are in the U.S. In other words, this is not something that's doable. This is not just, matter of opinion, you for the tariffs, you against tariffs. No, it's not workable. The way he's doing it is economic insanity. So the Ontario Premier Doug Ford comes out and announces that the province will remove all American alcohol products from Liquor Control Board of Ontario shelves, affecting nearly $1 billion worth of U.S. wine, beer, spirits, and seltzers. Additionally, they're going to eliminate American products from their catalog, preventing Ontario-based restaurants and retailers from ordering or restocking U.S. products. This is what we call a trade war, y'all. This is what we call a trade war. Now, interesting thing has happened. Since Trump announced this and there was retaliation, there's been these little moments here and there where the media is talking to Trump, and Trump will actually say the quiet part out loud and admit the thing he never would have admitted to on the campaign trail. Ready? He says, this was one of his posts. This will be the golden age of America. Will there be some pain? Yes. Maybe, and maybe not. But we will make America great again, and it will all be worth the price that must be paid. We are a country that is now being run with common sense, and the results will be spectacular. There's something deeply dark about saying it's being run with common sense as he plans the dumbest trade war of all time. Right? But you see the line there. Will there be some pain? Yes. Maybe, and maybe not. He's admitted other times, too. A couple times face-to-face with reporters. Like, there might be a short-term disruption, but if people understand that, they understand that. What happened? I thought what he said on the campaign trail 100 times is tariffs don't raise prices. You don't pay the tariff. The foreign country pays the tariff. Tariffs don't raise prices. He said that 1,000 times. And of course, everybody's reaction to it, correctly so, is, you jackass, literally the whole purpose of a tariff is to raise the price. That's the point of it. Because you want the foreign good coming into your country to cost more, so people are disincentivized from buying the foreign good and incentivized to buy the U.S. product. That's the whole point of a tariff. He lied about it endlessly. They won't even raise prices. Now, will there be some pain? Will there be a little disruption? Yeah, I think so. There might be. There might be just a little bit. Unbelievable. Of course, you had Justin Trudeau did the retaliatory tariffs. Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, who, by the way, has an 80% approval rating, AMLO's heir apparent, actually fighting for the people of Mexico from the party Morena, actual social democrats doing the right thing by their people, 80% approval rating. She comes out and says, Mexico does not want confrontation. We start from collaboration between neighboring countries. Mexico not only does not want fentanyl to reach the United States, but anywhere. Therefore, if the United States wants to combat criminal groups that traffic drugs and generate violence, we must work together in an integrated manner, but always under the principles of shared responsibility, mutual trust, collaboration, and above all, respect for sovereignty, which is not negotiable. Coordination, yes. Subordination, no. To this end, I propose to President Trump that we establish a working group with our best public health and security teams. Problems are not resolved by imposing tariffs, but by talking and dialoguing, as we did in recent weeks with your State Department to address the phenomenon of migration. In our case, with respect for human rights. The graph that President Trump has been posting on social media about the decline in migration was created by my team, which has been in constant communication with his. I instruct the Secretary of Economy to implement Plan B that we have been working on, which includes tariff and non-tariff measures in defense of Mexico's interests. Nothing by force, everything by reason and right. So she announces also retaliatory tariffs. She says, okay, you're going to do it, we're going to do it back. By the way, Trump's also out there saying we're going to tariff the EU. As somebody said on social media, yeah, Chinese takeover speed run, if that's what you're doing. I mean, everybody's going to run into the loving arms of China and BRICS and try to run away from the dollar at 1,000 miles an hour. So you had all this happen the other day, right? You had all this happen the other day. Boom. Soon as the market opens Monday, plummet. You see it right here. You see it right here. The market absolutely tanked. Because of course it's going to tank, because you just started a trade war for no good fucking reason. So right before I came on air now, Trump goes, he sees the market chaos, he sees the retaliatory tariffs, he's like, oh shit. Like genuinely, like, oh, okay, this is getting a little rough now. And he goes, I'm gonna meet with Canada, I'm gonna meet with Mexico, we're gonna do that tomorrow, we're gonna talk, we're gonna work something out, right? So what happens? Comes out today, and he says, the president of Mexico has agreed to send 10,000 National Guard to the border to block the drugs coming in our country. So we're going to pause the tariffs for a month, bro. we're going to pause the tariffs because they did what I wanted, so I win. We're going to pause the tariffs. By the way, sending 10,000 National Guard to the border. Hey, Don, I don't know if you know this. Fentanyl comes in this country through legal ports of entry bought by American citizens, the majority of it. Mexican troops on the border is going to do Dickie McGee's acts for Dickie McGee's acts, right? But he gets an optical win, and he goes, we're going to pause the tariffs for a month because they're going to do the thing with the borders. That's great. All right, we're good, right? We're good. And of course, he did this panicking, and he did this to reverse the market crash, and he did this to try to stave off the inevitable trade war, knowing he can't just put tariffs on them and that they won't retaliate, right? But then here's the deeper question, right? So he causes this tremendous problem, leads to this market crash, right? And you're looking at it, you're going, how many times has this guy caused a problem, pretended to solve the problem he created, basically just by backing away from the ledge, like taking the gun away from his temple, right? Why would you do something like that? Well, that's where this theory comes into play that I wanted to show you, right? Because at first I wouldn't have said, maybe it's this. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, how else do you make sense of what just went down here?
You know, I've been thinking about what the end game is with these tariffs. He's saying it's about fentanyl, but that is just an abject lie. Most of it is brought in by American citizens anyway. So I would not put it past him that he and his insider friends are trying to manipulate the market and that they are shorting stocks and then going to buy them back when they hit lows, and then he can just lift the tariffs. And he can say he solved this problem that he created, and then it'll make him look better, and then the stock market comes back. I really wouldn't put it past him. So I also think he's going to capitulate on this. He'll eventually lift these tariffs. It's just a matter of when. When is he going to do it? I think when the market opens Monday morning, we're going to see a huge reaction to these.
Everything he said so far is exactly what happened.
Especially as we see Canada and Mexico hit back with their own tariffs. That I love that they're targeting red states because they have been silent about these tariffs. Silent. And they will never speak out against Trump because they are just so afraid of a little mean tweet. They are falling in line and will follow him right over the cliff. But I have been seeing these comments about manipulating the market, and I really would not put it past them.
So now we're going to cover this article more in detail tomorrow, but at the same time, look at this. Hedge funds' massive bet on stock market crash raises alarm for 401ks and risks ire of Trump. So in other words, after Trump announces these tariffs, dead serious about it, you get the retaliatory tariffs, and all this stuff is about to pop off. The hedge funders, the venture capitalists, the people who are Trump's robber baron oligarchs, they immediately turn around and bet on the stock market to crash. Monday happens, stock market crashes. Trump has the meeting with Mexico and goes, but they said they'd send some troops to their border, so I'm going to pause the tariffs for a month. Was this all an elaborate ruse to make the market crash temporarily for these people to bet on a stock market crash, make more money, knowing, hey, he's going to eventually relent, claim an optical victory, and then, from there they can reevaluate. From there they can go back to current trade policy. And, in other words, all of this, every single step of the way, Trump and all of his allies could have been in on this, making bets along the way, knowing, hey, we'll make a shitload of money because with me announcing these tariffs, with the retaliatory tariffs announced, with all this happening, I announced it's already happening, you're going to have a market crash. Cash in on that market crash, make billions of dollars, and then don't worry, I'll claim an optical victory and I'll go in the other direction. At this point, this absolutely positively is in the realm of what's possible. There's no doubt about it. Because there's the same guy who did a rug pull crypto scam with a meme coin, a shit coin, 2 days before his inauguration, scammed his own supporters, MAGA, out of tens of billions of dollars. The same guy who stiffs his workers on a regular basis. The same guy who did Trump University, which was a fraud. He had a charity, which was a fraud. He was found liable for tax fraud and insurance fraud and business fraud. He's a con man. So look, at the end of the day, I'm happy We're not getting tariffs put in place. That would absolutely destroy the U.S. economy. A blanket across-the-board tariff with our closest neighbors and closest allies, that's mental. But it may have been an elaborate ruse, a con, a scam, to make him and his buddies even richer while playing games with the country and playing games with everybody's life. Holy shit. Again, we've never been in waters this uncharted before. This uncharted. This is already beyond the pale, already beyond my wildest imagination. And buckle up. It's going to be a really, really long 4 years. Hey, y'all,
so
do me a
even
favor.
Fox was turning against Donald Trump's weak and pathetic tariff stunt. I'll give you an example right here. I mean, Laura Ingraham, you don't get bigger of a propagandist for Donald Trump than her. So here she's openly wondering, did Donald Trump just cave to Canada by essentially agreeing to a deal for Canada to do things that it was already doing and that it had announced weeks or months ago? Watch this moment. Let's play it.
I'm not too impressed with the Canadian response, frankly. I mean, the fentanyls are, I don't know what that's going to do. And I guess they'll have a few helicopters flying at the border. I mean, it's not nothing, but they were going to get slapped with 25% tariffs, and now those are gone for at least 30 days. I'm not sure what's going to happen in 30 days. Maybe some other, concessions, but I think President Trump saw a huge negative reaction to this, as I know you predicted, I predicted, from Wall Street, from the markets, from all the establishment type.
And when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada announced the so-called deal that was done with the United States, for those in Canada and the rest of the world, they understood that it was kind of a troll, because Prime Minister Trudeau said, we will be implementing our $1.3 billion border plan. And yes, we will appoint a fentanyl czar. There's like no fentanyl coming into the United States from Canada. It's like a Donald Trump made up delusional thing to try to smear, besmirch, and defame Canada. Oh yeah. And then the $1.3 billion border plan. Okay, that was already happening under President Biden. And then Prime Minister Trudeau had already talked about this like months ago. I mean, just look at these articles from December 2014, $1.3 billion federal border security plan to have aerial defenses as well. This was already in place for a very long time. And just by the way, just even over the weekend, Prime Minister Trudeau talked about what had already been implemented by Canada. Just let me show you this so you can get the receipts. Then I got to show you more of these Fox clips, because this is hilarious. Here, play this clip.
We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results, because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together.
All right. So then Fox had on the ambassador to the United States from Canada, Ambassador Ray, or the Canadian ambassador to the United Nations, rather. Here is Bob Ray, Canadian ambassador to the UN. Here he's talking about how, a lot of these expenditures that are being talked about, like, they already existed. We agree. We didn't agree to anything. And they're saying it on Fox. Here, watch Ambassador Ray here. Play this clip.
Security goes down. Clearly, the administration sees it as a movement today, with Mexico and Canada promising a lot that they weren't promising before.
Not true in our case. I mean, can only speak very directly on this. We've had candid conversations with the administration for a long time on what we felt we could do and what we felt needed to be done, not just for you, but also for us. And many of those expenditures were already announced by the Prime Minister many, many weeks ago. So
here's the Canadian ambassador as well, making it very clear, looking to the Fox audience, standing up for Canada on Fox. I love it. Here, play this clip.
Why we're trying to have a reasonable and sensible discussion. And that's the kind of discussion
I appreciate
we'd
it.
like to have, and one that's respectful. And by the way, we're not the 51st state. We're a sovereign, independent country. Our leader deserves to be treated with respect, and we deserve to be treated with respect. And that's the way we want to proceed.
So of course, Fox has to then have its more, they're all kind of clownish hosts. There's just different degrees of Brett Baer on the clown scale versus Jesse Waters, which is like ultimate clowns. And again, I know we have clowns who actually watch, like professional ones, not these ones who are inherent clowns. So no offense to the clown community, but here's Jesse Waters. Play this clip.
Canada needs us more than we need them. Over 75% of Canadian exports come here.
But look, some of these hosts on Fox, they were ready to go with the fact checks. For example, here, one of the things was pointed out right away when Donald Trump tried to pretend that he did a deal with Mexico and that Mexico was sending an additional 10,000 troops to the border. Even they pointed it out on Fox. They're like, Trump didn't do a deal. Like, Biden got the 10,000 troops. Like, we know this from 2021. This again on Fox. Here, play this clip.
Also release the lumber here. Do you think on some level he's saying, I want to build up the middle class again by making the cars, doing the lumber here?
What happens when Canada puts on retaliatory tariffs against things made in states that Trump cares about? And by the way,
let's see if they do that by the end of the year.
They will, but by the way,
let's see if that happens.
Mexico sent 10,000 troops to the border in 2021 when Joe Biden was president. So it doesn't take the stock market tanking and threats of a tariff war to get Mexico to respond. So if you're willing,
you don't think there's border security during Joe Biden?
If you're willing,
and here the host is again. Let's play it.
So if you're willing,
you don't think there's border security during Joe Biden?
If you're willing, if Donald Trump will come out and say, I am willing for the American people to pay more, even though I promised lower prices. Pay more.
He already said that. Don't you read his True Social? So he said, look, there may be a little bit of pain.
Are people okay with that? He promised lower prices,
we won't
and now
have
we're
to
paying
find
more
out
for everything.
Because these countries are sitting down.
We're going to pay more for everything, guys. The Wall Street Journal says so. Do we now not trust the Wall Street Journal's economists
But
here?
if it doesn't happen, we don't have to.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
It's not even in effect yet.
We'll see.
I will say this.
Short term.
The incentive for those countries to have businesses come here is you go from 28 to 15% of a tax if you not only do business here. That'll take you 22. You get to 15 because you're going to build and build in American jobs here. We don't know. Maybe that phone call has a lot of sweetness to it.
Those companies are going to go to China.
By the way, that prime minister's on his way out the door. You don't know what kind of deal he'll cut.
Those companies are going to go to China, not Mexico, not Canada, and not here.
Happy Monday.
Nobody's going there.
That's what's going to happen.
But as I said, then Fox has to, roll out. Laura Ingraham's like, oh crap, were we too mean to Donald Trump? Let's get in Stephen Miller. And then they bring on Stephen Miller. And Stephen Miller's like, U.S. aid is really bad. We hate the U.S. aid. There's nothing worse than U.S. aid helping people. Here, play this clip.
But the bottom line here is USAID has been working against the interests of this country for decades now.
We gotta go.
President Trump is executing his duty to align federal funding with our national security interests.
I mean, y'all realize, the world is both in horror of what's taking place and also laughing at the United States. Our enemies are clearly laughing, and the rest of the world doesn't even know, it's just gross and weird. And you see Stephen Miller there, attack one of America's programs to try to, or that's been providing aid to people who are suffering from diseases, America's programs to try to stop the spread of HIV and AIDS abroad and to give, women with HIV AIDS, medication that they need to live, to provide aid to people abroad who are otherwise going to die. Oh, wait, this is the quote unquote pro-life party that's just killing people and attacking U.S. aid. It's so utterly pathetic. Let me show you this though too, because I thought this is actually a pretty good fact check from Larry Summers on CNN, former Treasury Secretary under President Clinton. Here's what Larry Summers has to say. It's pretty rare to formulate a policy as bad as Trump did. Here, play this clip.
So it's pretty rare, actually, to be able to formulate a policy that's lose for American consumers, lose for American producers, lose for American influence in the world, and only is benefiting our adversaries who are getting a great deal of satisfaction out of seeing this spectacle of traditional alliances being torn apart with these kinds of threats.
Summers was good in this interview. Here he is again. Let's play it.
And the effect of all of this is just going to be that every other country in the world, if we were prepared to do this with Canada, is going to view us with much more suspicion. They're certainly not going to do anything voluntarily generous for us if they expect to be extorted in the near future in this way. So,
I got one more clip of Summers to show you. Let's play it.
I do wonder what you make of Trump and some of his administration officials saying that Canada is inciting this trade war through their actions. Do you see it that way at all?
It's absurd. Canada is our friend. Canada is not a important source of illegal immigrants. Canada is not an important source of illegal drugs. Canada is an important market for American products. Canada is a crucial co-producer with American automobile companies that enable North America to compete with Asia and Europe. This whole policy is of the stop or I'll shoot myself in the foot kind. It represents a self-inflicted supply shock, a wound on the American economy. It is very dangerous. The major winner will be Xi Jinping.
There you have it, folks, though. Interesting stuff. Tell me what you think. But even on Fox, they were like, what in the world? I mean, Trump just got played by Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, by Prime Minister Trudeau. And now the world sees Donald Trump is so weak. Oh, Donald Trump, you're going to create a fake controversy, make all of these threats. Then you're going to just agree to the status quo. You're going to pretend it's a deal. But guess what? For the rest of the world now, for Canada, for Mexico, you can't rely on America under Donald Trump, this chaos regime under Donald Trump. They get it, but they also look at him like the weakest move ever. I mean, Trump showed his hand after folding. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million.
Let's just go to a commercial break, and then we'll come back.
This is me! I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me. At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Did you know that baking soda and ice-cold water is the crucial secret to reach firmness? Just go to the kitchen and do this before going to bed.
I never stopped to think about that.
Exactly. It's simple if you think about it. There's no miracle. The only thing that makes a man firm is increasing blood flow to that area.
That's what the famous blue pills do, right?
Yes, but they do it by dilating the veins. That's why they don't solve the problem permanently. There's only one way to permanently fix this problem without relying on pills, prescriptions, pumps, or exercises, and that's by clearing out the veins that are clogged with plaques. That's why the Indian doctor is getting so popular in the media. He discovered an Indian bull trick that can clear out more than 93% of the plaques. This brings 20 times more blood flow to the area for men. That's why this trick is so effective. A top research team at Johns Hopkins University investigated and confirmed that this trick works for any man, regardless of age. There are already over 62,000 men in America alone who have permanently reversed the problem.
When I saw that I could get firm again without taking any pills, I couldn't believe it. It had been years since I was able to perform.
For over 6 years, I couldn't stay firm. My marriage was terrible, and my wife left me, and we got divorced. That's when I found the Indian bull trick recipe, and I still can't believe I'm firmer than when I was 18. Now I'm dating a woman 20 years younger than me, and she's very satisfied with my performance.
That's incredible.
I told you it's something innovative, and it's been proven to work for any man. I'll leave the link to the free class here for anyone who wants to see it. So, click the button below and watch the free video with the full recipe.
But why isn't anyone talking about this in the media?
This trick was recently discovered, and since it was found, blue pill sales have dropped by over 60% in India. The industry is very worried that this natural trick will become popular in America. That's why they're doing everything they can to keep it from being publicized. This free class has already been taken down twice, and it's close to being taken down for the third time. And this time, it looks like it will be permanent. So this could be the last chance for those who need to see this information. Click the button below and watch the free class with the complete step-by-step guide.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back, everybody. So, as you can see, yesterday, when Trump was getting up on, on Mexico's ass, and all of a sudden he decided, oh, I'm gonna suspend the tariffs, right? Okay. Then the stock market started to go down. I mean, remember how it nosedived yesterday? And then, lo and behold, not even 24 hours later, Trump does a complete reversal of what he wants to do with Canada, okay? And MAGA's out there thinking that they won here in this, but they haven't taken the time to really think about what actually happened, okay? Which Fox News, is trying to spin. But what they don't see is that Trump basically backpedaled from what he was going to do, and fell back in line to what was going to happen, under Biden, okay? But he's trying to spin it as, oh, see what I did? I own Canada, and it's not. He didn't do anything, okay? He didn't do anything, and I think what happened was the stock market going down the way it was really the deciding issue here. I don't know why. He didn't think that, what he was planning on doing wasn't going to impact our economy. It certainly would, okay? And the fact that so many people were getting really nervous and decided to sell and everything, I think somebody pulled his ear and said, you better not do it. You do it and that's it. You're never going to get any support from us ever again. So I think, in this situation, I really think that Trump gave in to corporate America because they weren't going to sit by and let this shit go on. Okay, it's bad enough that Trump's out there deporting immigrants and stuff like that, people who are the backbone of what supplies us with our goods, okay? And that's already got enough people and industries worried, okay, and upset. But You know, this fucking tariff mess here that he was threatening to do. I mean, come on. Now there was some people out there who were saying, oh, this was all a distraction to give Elon Musk, you know, a smokescreen for what he was going to do. Well, okay. In any other administration, I would say, yeah, that's probably what happened. Not this one. You know why not this one? Because A, the press don't even care what Trump does. Okay, he's breaking rules right and left, breaking laws all the time. And where's the media to come after him and, you know, and investigate him and all that? They're crickets. Okay. The other thing is why risk the stability of our economy, and possibly what he's done has damaged our trust around the world for who knows how long, just to give Elon Musk cover for whatever the hell he's doing. Okay, that don't make any sense. I don't think Trump really cares about people seeing what he's doing. He's got a big mouth. I mean, you hear all the time he lets out by accident, I think, a lot of times what he plans on doing or what he's thinking, and he don't care. They try to, you know, question him and ask him, well, what did you mean by that? And he's, oh, you know, he says something like, oh, common sense. You know, no, he doesn't care. He's not going to provide smoke screen for anybody. Yeah, he makes chaos and stuff like that, but that's, you know, for himself, I think, you know, not for anybody else, but, you know, for him, so that way everybody's looking at all these things that he's doing. Okay, in the meantime, you know, he ain't making it hidden about the other things that he's doing, because, hey, Republicans know what he's doing, right? They know what he's up to, what he's doing, so it gets out one way or the other. But it's the fucking media that follows the bread, you know, the whatever the hell else is going on. They don't really focus on the real stories anymore, okay? So there's no smokescreen needed in this administration. He's got the media in his pocket. You know, they will do whatever the hell they have to do to, you know, make Trump look good. Okay? That's all he needs. You know, a distraction. Oh, Christ, you don't need a fucking distraction. He's not that scared about getting caught. All right? He's already gotten caught for worse things, and he's gotten away with it. So what makes anyone think that he cares at this point now about covering his tracks? Okay? And the idea that Congress is just sitting on its fucking collective thumbs and not really doing anything about it, when it's really, you know, they can take action on this motherfucker, but they won't do it. So again, there's another example of why Trump shouldn't have to worry about getting caught doing things. Okay? So, yeah, MAGA is out there trying to spin this as a victory, and and Trump didn't win anything. Actually, he didn't. All the threats, all the tariff threats, and all that stuff didn't gain him anything. Okay, all it did was hurt our image in the world, and people in Canada are boycotting American products. I imagine the same will be going on in Mexico. So what did he gain out of it? Not a goddamn thing. He just hurt our name around the world. Okay, ooh, now it's a big victory. Jesus. Anyway, Senator Susan Collins here has given Tulsi Gabbard her support for the intelligence chief. Okay, and that's got a lot of people upset, not just Mainers on that, but there's this article here from it from Morning Star. And it's written by Lauren McCulley. U.S. Senator Susan Collins announced Monday that she will support the nomination of Tulsi Gabbard to serve as Director of National Intelligence in the Trump administration. As one of President Donald Trump's most vulnerable cabinet nominees, the main Republican support means Gabbard will likely be confirmed to that position despite concerns about her views on foreign policy, her meetings with the former Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, and accusations of promoting Russian propaganda. Quote, as one of the principal authors of the Intelligence Reform and Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004 that established this coordinating position, I understand the critical role the DNI plays in the intelligence community, unquote, said Collins, who serves on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Quote, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, however, has become far larger than it was designed to be, and Ms. Gabbard shares my vision of returning the agency to its intended size, unquote. If confirmed, Gabbard would oversee 18 agencies and organizations in the intelligence community and be responsible for a budget of more than $100 billion. During the Senate confirmation hearing last week, Collins questioned Gabbard, a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve and former U.S. representative for Hawaii, on whether she would recommend any kind of clemency for Edward Snowden, a former National Security Agency contractor who leaked classified information regarding surveillance efforts. In her statement Monday, Collins said Gabbard addressed her concerns. Well, Susan Collins is good for having concerns. She's concerned about a lot of things, but she does very little about much of anything. And her throwing her hat in with Tulsi Gabbard here is not a good thing for a lot of people to hear. A lot of folks don't trust her. Okay, and for good reason, I suppose. I mean, it's just you want somebody who doesn't seem to want to take the side of the enemy and the things that she said, like Putin, and so where's her loyalties, really? That's the question they should be asking her. Where's her fucking loyalties? So yeah, that was out in the news here this morning. And then this very interesting story here from the Intelligencer. It's entitled "Democrats May Shut Down the Government to Keep Trump from Gutting It." Now, this was published yesterday. Written by Ed Kilgore. You can put the whole Trump 2.0 shock and awe agenda of right-wing policies into two baskets. There are things that Donald Trump pretty clearly has the power to do, tariffs and revoking policies set by Biden executive orders, or a Republican-controlled Congress can do via the upcoming budget reconciliation bill or bills that Democrats cannot stop. And then there are things Trump and his underlings are doing that rely on exotic and dangerous theories of imperial presidential powers that Richard Nixon could have only dreamed of possessing. These include the Office of Management and Budgets Aborted, quote, federal funding freeze, unquote, and the guerrilla campaign that Elon Musk and his geek kitty corps is undertaking by physically seizing control of, quote, choke points, unquote, for government operations. Democrats obviously can't do anything about those executive actions other than to point and shout and encourage the courts to intervene. But there is a steadily increasing possibility that the Trump offensive could go so far and so fast that congressional Democrats are tempted easily to go on strike when it comes to actions where they do actually have some leverage. These include an upcoming effort to keep the federal government operating when the stopgap spending authority enacted in December runs out on March the 14th. And Democrats will also probably have to lend some support to the debt limit increase Trump has demanded, which will need to happen by late spring. Republicans could include that in their party line budget reconciliation legislation, but extreme hostility from House Freedom Caucus types make that improbable. Would the, quote, party of government, unquote, really defend that government by threatening to defund it or even risk a debt default? There's already talk about extreme measures, as Senator Patty Murray told Punchbowl News. Democrats are, as always, committed to responsibility funding the government, but it is extremely difficult to reach an agreement on top lines, much less full-year spending bills, when the president is illegally blocking vast chunks of approved funding, when he is trying to unilaterally shutter critical agencies, and when an unelected billionaire is empowered to force his way into our government's central, highly sensitive payments system at the Treasury Department. Talk about Elon Musk there. Democrats and Republicans alike must be able to trust that when a deal gets signed into law, it will be followed. A Democratic staffer put it more starkly in the same story. quote, we could get to a tipping point where bipartisan cooperation becomes an overwhelming negative for us, unquote. So the emerging idea may be for congressional Democrats to insist that before they provide a single vote that Republicans need, Elon Musk and Russell Vought, the OMB director nominee widely thought to be behind the funding freeze, must be put on a leash. It's possible that by doing so, they could be empowering people within the administration who are either terrified or threatened by the vast power grabs represented by both Musk's shadowy Doge operation and Vought's ambitions to make OMB the all-powerful central nervous system of the entire federal budget. They are potentially even aligning themselves with MAGA populists for whom extreme austerity measures are an annoying hangover from pre-Trump conservatism. And, presumably, congressional Republicans, despite their silence about or complicity in the Musk-Vought shenanigans, have some misgivings about being made completely superfluous in some terms of spending decisions and policy priorities. A Democratic hardline on any appropriations deal could put Republicans generally in a bind, if only because fiscal hardliners in the House are already ratcheting up their demands for deep budget cuts to secure their own votes, as Politico reports. Quote, House Republican leaders want committees to land deeper spending cuts in their party-aligned bill to enact President Donald Trump's domestic agenda as they scramble to address a rebellion from key budget committee members who think Speaker Mike Johnson's initial plan falls short. Key hardliners and others on the budget panel are pushing to outline at least $1 trillion in spending cuts in the blueprint that the committee is supposed to debate this week. According to 3 people familiar with the private discussions who were granted an anonymity to describe them, unquote. At a minimum, congressional Democrats need to make it immediately clear that they will use their leverage, even if that means a government shutdown. But at some point, they need to decide if they will use that leverage to secure concessions on the details of spending levels, or instead go big with an attack on lawless expansions of executive powers. Some Democrats may be inclined to let the courts police the kind of wild conduct associated with Doge and to gamble that the U.S. Supreme Court will put a stop to Vought's ambitions for unlimited presidential power to impound congressionally appropriated dollars as some sort of personal embodiment of the popular or divine will. But if the chaotic events of the last week are just an appetizer for outrages to come, Democrats may conclude that functioning as an opposition party requires putting themselves in the path of the Trump 2.0 locomotive and yelling stop. Well, they got to do something, you know. Threatening a government shutdown, you know, I don't think they do it. Yeah, I really, I don't think they do it because, you know, they're the ones that are usually trying to argue against that sort of thing, and now they're being put in a position of having to use that, you know, that avenue to try and stop Trump. But Trump is not going to yield. I don't think he's going to yield. The Democrats will, and I don't think they're gonna actually do that. Their other option, I don't know if that's even going to work. You know, it's really, I don't know, up in the air. I think. I mean, I don't see much of anything that they can do here. You know, to stop Trump from doing the damage from to the government that he's trying to do here. Like I said, impeachment. You know, maybe, you know, why wait? I mean, who cares if it's only been 2.5 weeks in his presidency? There's no law that says you have to wait, you know, X amount of time before you can impeach a president. No. If he's starting in on day one being a fucking prick and a criminal and all that, then God damn it, you come down on the son of a bitch, whatever fucking oversight you got. And that's what Congress is there for. And you know, it's just, you know, you got to at some point put aside your, what do you call it, your fucking fears or whatever they might be about the president, and stand on the side of the Constitution, which is what they are all supposed to be doing. But they haven't been doing this for a long time. Okay, it's always been about money talks. The money doesn't get us anywhere. Okay, it's only ruined our system of government and brought us here. Okay, by constantly giving in to oligarchs who want this and want that and want every goddamn thing under the sun. Okay, and not having to pay for it. That's why we are where we are. That's why we got Trump as the president. That's why the Democrats couldn't win the fucking presidency. Okay? You see how that plays out? And I feel like this is one of those times where the Democrats are going to have to be the villains that Republicans usually are when they're the ones not in control of everything, okay? Democrats are going to have to, for the first time, I think, in a long time, they're going to have to be the ones to play the hardball and not give a shit about the repercussions. And that's where I don't think they can do that. Because, for one thing, they like to stand on the high ground with everything. And the minute they think about having to get in the gutter to fight, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No, we're going to look bad. Oh, you already do look bad. I hate to tell you guys that. Okay? AOC has been out there doing videos on her show, telling people that it's up to us, the people, to get interested, you know, to rally the people and stuff like that, okay? Well, what the hell do you think we were trying to do in the last election, okay? Americans were mobilized, you know, to put in Kamala Harris. But wouldn't you know it, despite all the fucking momentum and everything that she gained and everything, what happened? You know, and people are saying, you know, that it wasn't by accident, okay, that she lost, okay. Part of it was by design, okay. Certain red states were designed to fall in line, and certainly some of the key states that, you know, Democrats are hoping to win were also, you know, impacted by certain, what do you want to call it, gerrymandering or whatever the hell they call it, tampering, in order for them to come in red for Trump. Okay, I ain't saying it was cheating, but I'm saying before the election things were done to give Trump an edge, just enough. Okay, that's why it was a close call at the end. It wasn't no landslide for Trump. Okay, he got just enough votes what he needed to win. All right. It was a decisive victory, but it was no mandate, okay? He didn't get everything. But it's the idea that, you know, the Democrats are now in the doghouse, more or less, and they're the ones that's going to have to do the hard lifting now. We tried doing it the way AOC is talking about that we need to do to get involved, okay? We donated the money. We went out on the fucking streets. We voted at the fucking polling stations, okay? What more can we do? I ask. You know, what the hell more does she think we can do? It's, at the end of the day, it's up to Congress. We put you in there to do your job. We are expecting Congress to hold Trump accountable. They are supposed to be the ones, you know, with the oversights and all that, and they let Trump gut that out. And they didn't say anything. And now all of a sudden they're threatening a government shutdown. Now, like that again, how is that going to help anything? It's only going to hurt the country as a whole, you know. You think Trump's going to, you think he hasn't figured out a way around that? I mean, come on, people, Congress, I mean, you fucking people, you got to understand. You're not dealing with an average politician here. You're dealing with a lunatic, okay? And as a lunatic, you know, you guys are going to have to treat him, you know, like an outsider. You know, you're going to have to go after him outside the box, outside of the system, outside of everything that, you know, you guys depend on to run your little game down in DC. You guys have to look at him through a different lens and stop treating him like, you know, he's a legitimate politician, because he ain't. You know this. So you got to treat him like he treats everybody else, like shit, okay? You got to come after him and do to him what he's been doing to everybody else, you know? That's what you got to do. I just feel like there isn't a whole lot more the American people can do. I mean, the next step that that some people are already considering doing is a step that Congress doesn't want to see us have to do, because it's going to get real messy. You know, you know what I'm talking about, okay? That's all we got left. I mean, we've been playing it by the rules all this long, and it hasn't got us anywhere. So if Congress is not going to step up to the plate and do what it has, you know, for powers to do things to hold Trump responsible, then hey, you're throwing the responsibility of doing something right back on the citizens' shoulders, okay? And we only know how to take care of things in one fucking way. And trust me, you guys are not going to like it. You know, you guys aren't going to like it because, you know, everybody's heads are going to be on the block, essentially. Well, we don't know who the hell is who. So, you got to do something, okay? This, I don't know who's going to benefit out of this, okay? You're basically going to hurt everybody if you shut the government down, okay? That's only going to make you people look more hateful, and you're going to lose support. The last thing you need is that, because when we come into our midterms, okay, you're going to need a substantial amount of backing in order to regain control of these houses. You know, that's what you got to do. And certainly, the Republicans are going to use, you know, you guys trying to shut down the government as a bludgeon to, you know, gain more seats in these places, and you guys are going to be even dwindled down to even a smaller minority. So look, it's about the long-term picture here, isn't it? Okay, you're going to have to find a better way to deal with Trump than this, shutting the government down. I'm sorry, this is not the answer. Okay, I think that, you know, it's not going to blow over well with the public as a whole. You're going to have Democrats and Republicans coming together to oppose the Democrats in Congress here for doing that. Okay, that's not what you want. Okay, because then no one's going to get mad at Trump anymore. They're going to be mad at you. Okay, remember, people's memories are very short. They're only going to care about their immediate needs, and whoever's taking the food out of their mouth at that moment is the one that's going to get slapped. Okay, it doesn't matter that Trump's been doing it all along, but the minute you guys take over and do it for him, hey, you guys are now the hated ones. So don't do that. You know, Jesus. I think I've been around long enough to understand the way this country thinks and how it acts. Okay, I know how people are. They're very selfish. Americans are very selfish people. And the thing about that is that, you know, if we don't get our fucking luxuries and we don't get what we want, okay, it doesn't matter who's the president or who's, you know, people are going to point their finger at an enemy, and that's going to be the one that they're going to target. And if you guys are threatening a government shutdown, guess what? Your heads are going to be on the chopping block. So please, you know, come up with a better idea. You guys, how many of you are there? You know, you got lawyers, you got all kinds of constitutional experts. You can't tell me that this is the only option you got here, okay? Come on. Be original. Come up with something here that's really going to do the kind of thing you want to see happen here. All right? Jesus Christ. You know, I thought you guys had time to figure out how you was going to handle Trump before, you know, in case he won, but apparently you guys really didn't do much thinking on that, did you? Christ. It's a shame that the brain power, you know, in the Democrat Party has diminished here over time. You know, it used to be a lot smarter and come up with answers to problems rather, you know, pretty quickly. But now, you know, we're reduced to this. Jesus. You guys are letting Trump run you. Okay? He's owning you by you doing this because, hey, that's what he wants. He wants you guys to overreact and do shit like this because, hey, it makes him look good. He becomes the hero. Okay? Even some Democrats will turn around and start supporting Trump if you guys start to shut the government down. So don't even think about doing it. That's my advice to you. Okay? Find another avenue. All right, so that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So subscribe, comment, and share. Keep your ears open for health-related matters. And, you know, treat each other well. Be a community. Help each other out. And I'll talk to you guys later, so take care. Bye-bye.